Hi, everyone. we did, I forgot to turn on the recording early on in the show. What we spent the first part of our Snarky chat doing was introducing my stepmom. I know a lot of you read some of the things that we posted, but it was fun to go over and review some of the other things she did besides General Hospital. And she did talk a lot about what it was like being on set and what an enormous respect she had for the people who had so many lines to learn. And it was just the day started at 6 in the morning and it would go until the scene was in the can, which, could take a long time. And she got to know Dr. Steve Hardy and Dr. Nurse Jessie and baby Monica and way baby Jeannie Francis. In fact, she said at the time, I don't know if this is on the video that I'm going to stick this introduction on, that Jeannie Francis couldn't go to her high school graduation because she was being homeschooled or tutored on set. And so the whole cast got together and dressed Jeannie up in her graduation cap and gown and threw her a graduation party, which is, so cute. What else did we talk about? We talked a little bit about her family heritage and how she has a genealogy of people in the business that is just amazing. Her mom was the second runner-up dancer to Ginger Rogers to be Fred Astaire's partner, and she also acted in several movies. And her dad, Barry Shipman, wrote teleplays for the old shows like Lone Ranger and Flash Gordon and those kinds of things. So that was just her mom and dad. And then you go to her grandmother, her paternal grandmother, whose picture is right up there. That's Nell Shipman, and she was a silent screen star. And her big deal was she loved animals. I mean, I think she had a pet bear at some point. She's just amazing. But she was the very first woman to own her own film production company because she was tired of working with the men and having the men telling her no. And she's like, fine, I'm moving to Idaho and I'm going to start my own thing. And if I want a bear in my movie, I'll have a bear in my movie. So we have a family of and then of course my sister, who is my Nina's daughter, is also an actor. She has done an off-Broadway tour. She now owns the Youth Academy of Dramatic Arts, or YADA, in the Fairfax district, right? Very close to Prospect Park, and also in Studio City. And that's drama experience for kids ages 3 to 18. And she's had a lot of success with that. So it's a very fun family in the business. I am not blood related, but we all can enjoy one another. So this is just a quick introduction. I apologize for not turning the record button on sooner. I will get this uploaded, and I will probably take snippets of the conversation to post for everybody so they see what they missed. And I will post the full video on our Patreon page. So thank you again. We love you. You were just so stinking cute, and thank you for everything. We love you. Bye-bye.
And Ryan is still with us. And I worked with Jeannie Francis.
Who is still with us.
Who is still with, in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Emily McLaughlin, who is Nurse Jessie.
Yeah. Emily, what a cool lady.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I was so sad when she passed. Yeah, she was cool. There's more about her later. We'll get into that. Yeah. But Mike's particular experience on that set as just a day player. I was nobody. I was an actress who came in to die to fit the storyline.
We usually call them goons, day goons. But you weren't really a goon. You were a body.
I had about 6 lines or something. Apparently, I caught something in...
You caught the Lassa disease.
Thank you.
Lassa fever, yeah.
And it was kind of like the pandemic now, only, it wiped out hospital, and I died, and they had to talk about it, and blah, blah, blah. But I found my experience one of the most enlightening, how hard these actors work. Holy cannoli. I mean, those are not 9 to 5 jobs, girlfriends and boyfriend. These are, you shoot it until you got the shot. That doesn't matter. If the set falls down, try to make the best of it. Do something to make it okay and keep going. And it was like, whoa, a lesson in improv, sustainability, stay in character, even though you're going,
So there is some improv.
oh God, yes.
See,
unfortunately, they rewrite sometimes their lines. And I had a girlfriend who was a writer for Guiding Light. And she said, oh my God, the language that they confuse it with. I write it in proper English and they go mess it all up and make me look bad.
You know, I wonder about that because
writers don't do that. It's because you got to shoot once and get on.
Well,
with it.
and if you're in character, you're going to say things that you're used to saying because they use bad grammar all the time. It drives me nuts. I
know.
Especially when they get lie and lay mixed up. I want to reach.
Don't blame the writers for that. No, seriously, they know better. They know better.
Because we blame the writers for everything, don't we, you guys?
Except bad grammar. That is only an accidental thing that comes out of people who probably know better, but in their haste to get the scene in the can, if you will, and move on because the director is screaming, time, hurry up, we're on golden hours, we paying the crew, and so you do it. You do what you have to.
So on those 3 days when you were on set, were there other parts of the story being filmed in other parts of the set, or was it?
No,
it was just your turn to do.
Yeah, it was that day story because again, my girlfriend who wrote for these things told me the routine. There's a head writer who kind of tells you the plot, and each episode is sent to a different writer in advance of filming, obviously, and she or he puts words in the mouths of the characters who are in the overlay plot that the head writer writes. And then in my case, in that I worked at that particular time, I can't speak to what goes on now, but this is what I experienced. It's filmed 2 weeks in advance to the date.
I think we're out longer than that now, aren't we now? David would know that. I don't know that.
Yeah,
I think it's more like 3 or 4 weeks.
So if I was on a Monday, 2 weeks later, I could turn it on and see moi on a Monday. But that was it. It was a given. And with the union that we worked under, which was AFTRA, which is American Federation of Television and Radio Audiences.
Artists, not audiences.
Oh yeah, the audience don't get paid.
No, we do not get paid.
No, you pay. My bad. Thank you. And they said you don't get to have overtime for free, but it's okay if you film longer because the set fell down or somebody forgot their lines or the electricity went out, and it was so complicated. So we just had to do it the same day. That's all they cared about. So you could start at 6 a.m., which is when I would arrive on set, kind of looking like I do now with less wrinkles.
Yeah. But no makeup, no hair.
No hair. You come on naked from here up.
Yeah.
Might have qualified that. Yeah, these days you need to, don't you? And we go in at 6 a.m. and go downstairs to the basement. This is in ABC Studios in Los Angeles.
So was that in Burbank on the other side of the hill, or because they're at Prospect Studios now, which is like more like the Fairfax district?
Good question. Yeah. I don't know the answer.
That's okay.
David will know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was the GH set, period. And the regulars had dressing rooms, really nice dressing rooms. And I got to inhabit the dressing rooms of whoever wasn't shooting that day, which was very cool. I felt special. So we go in at 6 a.m. and we go downstairs to the basement, and they had all these chuck lines all over the place. And you're supposed to carry a script and write down your blocking. Say the words, write down your blocking. No direction other than move here, stand here, look at this way, that way. It was 3 cameras, I think they were dealing with. And the director and the camera people were down there taking notes. And then you go up to hairdressing and makeup and wardrobe. Then you come down for 7:30, a visual check to see if everything lines up, and you stand in front of the camera. These are what all these people have to do, by the way. That's why I'm telling you.
So it's an individual thing that they have to check everyone.
This is the routine 1-day shoot. And by 8 o'clock, we're on the set, looking gorgeous or whatever.
Or dying.
Or dying.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to just dying.
What, Jewel?
Or looking good dying.
Yeah,
Yes,
looking. Yeah.
I like you. Anyway, it's very, very scheduled. And the day ends when they got it all on camera. Actually, it was videotaped then. And then they transfer it to film to show it on the show. That's why it was AFTRA, as against Screen Actors Guild, which is film basically. So that was the technical day. And my hat went off to all those regulars who did this at least 3, maybe some of them, depending on the stardust and the storylines, 5 days a week. It's a grind. It's a grind.
So how many, say like somebody like in the episode you're in, you have Steve Hardy, Dr. Steve Hardy, standing over her body. Yeah. So how many like pages of dialogue would he have to memorize for one day?
Oh, Lordy mercy. Lordy mercy. You go home at 8 o'clock at night, you rip off your makeup, you read your lines, you go home and you try to get some sleep, and then you get up and do it again, and you better have your lines memorized by the time you shoot. Soaps talk, they're very talky.
Yes.
Not so much, there's a little bit more adventure and stuff going on nowadays, but then it was all yak.
It was basically talking heads that just stood there and did things.
It started on the radio, so it was all talk. Coffee and women and medical talk and stuff. And on the radio, you could read your script, but you can't do it on the TV. So it was hard for those people. And then you got very little direction from the director in terms of your interpretation. It's mostly, are you looking in the right direction? Did you hit your mark? It's highly technical. Now, again, put me back 50 years. I don't know where it is now.
Yeah.
But I can tell you there's the formula in the structure of the soap opera hasn't changed much at all.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And I think that's its draw. Don't you think? It's a comfort zone.
Yeah. And we were talking about, and why do we still watch this show? I mean, let's face it, it's ridiculous, right? It's because these people are our friends, right? I don't know about you, but Liesl Obrecht is like my second best friend. I would go to lunch with her and I would just love her to death, and I know Jewel would be chasing Roger around.
Hey, Jewel, I agree with you. I think he's hot.
He is hot.
He's a hottie. Yeah. Okay. He's a little young for me and I'm a little old for him, but he's still a hottie.
He's 52. He's not that old.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? You broke up a little.
Oh, he's 52.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both too old for him by a long shot.
I'm not a cougar,
I'm older than him.
I'm older than he is.
I'm older than him. By the way, this is Luna.
Hi, Luna.
Luna.
Luna's is it she Luna or
that's her spot.
That's hers.
She decided she wanted to stay there, so she stays there.
That's okay. That's good.
No problem with that. We love animals.
So the story, I think I may have previewed this about the fact that Emily McLaughlin, who played Nurse Jessie Brewer, they got chatty while they were on the set. And Nina, one of her very good friends, was also a soap writer. Didn't Deborah write for soaps?
That's the one I was referring to about Guiding Light.
Yeah, she wrote Guiding Light. So Nina and Deborah, her friend, the writer, get together and they get this scathingly brilliant idea because now she's met Emily McLaughlin, who is famous at that time because, soaps were a big deal. And they went to the mall and talked to the major stores and said, hey, we have this idea that might really be a win-win for both of us here. We want to do a soap opera spoof in the middle of the mall, and you can use it as a fashion show. And so people come to see the soap opera, and Emily McLaughlin, or Nurse Jessie, was the guest star. And so the mall was packed when we did this production. And then part of it was called The Worn and the Reckless.
It's about the fashion industry.
Yes. So tell them the whole the arc of the silliness of the.
Okay, it was 4 episodes, kind of like a soap opera run, 4 different Wednesdays or whatever. And it was a shopping mall downtown, and the major stores were Sears, Broadway, and May Company.
Mhm.
And Sears did the furniture, Broadway did the fashions, and May Company, or no, Pennies. No, I'm sorry, not May Company. J.C. Penney did the props. And in the program, it was kind of like an industrial film. In the program, we had where you could buy all these nifty things you're looking at on the show. And in 4 episodes, which were totally silly, by the way, but majorly spoofy, it turned out that everybody in the show, one way or another, ended up being related to each other through misadventures and
As one does.
as well as certainly does on that show.
Yeah.
And so the punchline for the show was one of the main characters declared, "You are all my children." And it was, again, totally silly. It was a spoof. It was totally satire, and it went over big. We toured that show for several malls in the LA area. And then
I was one of the
She-
most critical characters. I played the waitress, and my name was Mrs. O.R. Dervey.
well,
And so I would just wander in scenes holding a tray and feeding people and all these things.
and one of the fashionista designers was a very handsome young dude called Jacques C. Pinet.
Right, instead of J.C. Penney's.
Yeah.
Get it? Jacques C. Penney.
And then I think,
Oh,
I mean, I'm telling it, I meant
Tortured puns, guys.
Silly.
Tortured puns.
but it was so much fun because we'd sell them a brown bag of lunch.
Yeah.
They could eat their lunch. They called it the Brown Bag Theater, and eat their lunch and watch the silly soap opera, which was about half hour each episode for a 4-week run. It was cool.
It was a really fun thing to do. And Emily McLaughlin was just
Oh, she got to come on and murder somebody. That
Yeah.
was fun.
so yeah, big draw, which is so fun because Nurse Jessie would never do that. And so it was really fun for her to be like,
Actually, it was Bang Bang.
Oh shoot.
Sorry
Bang
about
bang.
that. Bang Bang.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, was a sweet. I think she was one of the ladies. Well, I certainly got to know her on the set because a lot of chit chat. You sit around sometimes too, just waiting for your turn to say your lines and hit your marks. I know what you would like to know. Laura, Jeannie Francis, who had basically kind of grown up on the set, and she always had a teacher on the set because that's the law. Until you're 18, you have a teacher. If you're, underage, doesn't matter where you are in school, you got a teacher, kind of like a chaperone, I guess. Anyway, she missed her graduation, her real graduation at Hollywood High. I believe that's where Jeannie went to school. So the cast of GH gave her a graduation ceremony party, put her in her cap and gown, and she's like 18 years old. And she was absolutely radiant. And I never worked with Tony, what's his name? Leary?
Yeah, Tony Geary.
Gary. Yeah. No, I knew about him, of course. The Luke and Laura story was there. But I never met him. I don't think he had anything on the same days that I was there. But I thought that was pretty cool of those guys. In general, the people I worked with were among the nicest I've met in my entire acting career. They're hardworking actors doing their job, and there's no hoop-de-doo about them. They were just good peeps. And so I bet you there's a lot of that still going on because it's not an easy job.
No, I think they become a family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm laughing about your comment about all the lines because
Oh, yeah.
Sonny, Maurice Bernard, cannot memorize lines to save his
Well,
life.
he does have this situation. Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think after all these years, he would have exercised that muscle a little bit.
Teleprompters are very helpful.
Yeah, sometimes he'll be sitting and you'll see his eyes go down and he's got his lines written on a napkin on a paper or
But
something.
it is hard because it's talky. And talkies are liney, and linies are memorizing-ish, and they don't like it when you flub.
Well, and that's why I asked about the improv, because Roger Franco or whatever character we're talking about, but
Austin.
Jimmy Lee's son.
yeah,
That's who he's going to be.
who is he?
He's going to be Jimmy Lee's son.
Oh, Jimmy
You
Lee
can
Holt.
tell.
Who's
Not
that?
from what
Yeah,
I
He's
heard.
back from like the 80s or something.
Oh.
Anyway,
He's a
Not from
Quartermain.
what I heard. I heard he was going to be Alan's son.
No,
Alan
he's going to be
Quartermain?
Jimmy Lee's.
Yep.
I think he's going to be Jimmy Lee's because Jimmy Lee moved to Pawtuck, and that's where he's from.
I
With his
know,
wife.
but if you remember, Alan was in Pawtuck doing that amnesia thing, or what he had.
Oh,
the
that's
amnesia
right.
and
It
then he
could
slept
be.
with-
It could
with
be.
the women.
so he could be
Yeah.
a Quartermain?
So
Well,
yeah.
he would be a Quartermain either way if he was Jimmy Lee's or
Yeah,
Alan's
but
because
if
they're both
they have him
Quartermains.
if they have him as Jimmy Lee's son, he can't have anything really to do with the Quartermains because Jimmy Lee was written out of the will.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
So
Well-
they
Okay.
pretty much have to put him as Alan's son.
so Jewel,
So-
since you are our Roger Howarth expert,
Yes.
tell me your gut feeling as to who he, not who he is, but who is his personality? Is he going to be a good guy or a
think
bad
he's
guy?
He's gonna throw a little bit of Todd in there. You know he's got to throw a little bit of Todd in there.
From One Life to Live.
Oh, yeah, I remember Todd.
Little.
So I think he's gonna be like snarky like Todd, a
Uh-huh.
little bit more snarky
Well,
like
he's
Todd.
so good at
But,
that.
like,
My
I
gosh.
think he's gonna throw like all his characters in there and be like, okay, I'm gonna just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I think that's where they are. But
Yeah.
I don't know, because now he's just kind of this dorky dude showing up. And
He's
yet they're putting
he's
it-
doing what he said, because he did do one more cameo, and he said he doesn't even know how Austin's gonna act.
Well, I thought that I thought that they really had to sit him down and say, okay, Franco's going to die, but we want you on the cast. And I thought they had to say, so we're going to create this role, and they describe. So he may have some more idea.
Something, but he doesn't know how he's going to play it yet.
Ah, okay, all right.
It's
Well,
not
I'm
like
just
you
glad
want
he's
to-
back.
Mama Stark's mother-in-law knows that when you read something and you go to act it out, you don't know exactly how that's going to come out and how you want it to be portrayed.
Exactly. You have to play it kind of down the middle and see which way the wind blows.
Right. You got like I said, you got to throw something at the wall and see if it sticks.
Good one. Good one. Spoken like a true fan.
What, Allison? Did you say
So
something?
yeah, right now I'm not loving Austin. Just be honest.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
we'll
not
get.
loving Austin. I've been watching Todd Manning saga like in between GH till
Oh,
I can feel better for Franco because I just like, nope, gotta go watch some Todd.
Allison, what were you going to say?
Gleason had the blonde hair anymore. Like when he first came on as Franco.
Franco,
he
they
that
had him blonde. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but his haircut now is horrible.
I hate his hair.
I mean, it looks like they just kind of went, okay, we're going to cut the back and leave the front to do this.
I like his hair.
Do you, Amy?
Yeah, I like his hair because it's like long and then short. I think that Roger just has really good hair, so it doesn't matter like what style it's in. He
I
just
know.
has
Just
really.
Jewel, move your head a
good
sec
hair.
so we can see your picture. Look at that. Look at the picture on Jewel's wall. Talk
That's
about
his
hair.
classic hair. Yeah.
That was baby Todd.
That was baby. That
was baby Todd.
Yeah, that was baby Todd.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Yeah,
was
he has great hair.
That was probably around the time when he was with Rebecca.
On One Life to Live. I don't.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember that back that far.
I
don't-
do.
You got into One Life to Live.
Yeah,
Didn't you?
yeah. When I was getting my master's in communication, I had to spend some time off island, obviously, in California, and I stayed part of the time with my mother-in-law, my husband's mom.
My grandmother.
Yeah, your grandma, Tutu
Yeah.
Ruth, and she and her roomie Aunt Lucy watched all three ABC soaps.
So all my children, One Life to Live, GH, 3 hours every day. They
And
were glued to the
it was-
TV.
It was a ritual. And I learned about the other two soaps that were on ABC. And I watched them die. That made me so sad because I kind of got into it. The stories are fun, you know.
I never got into All My Children, but One Life to Live, when that was canceled, I grieved.
Well, I loved Erica Slezak.
I
thought she was
cried
awesome.
so
She is.
hard,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so hard.
losing Natalie and
Yeah.
Taya, whatever her name is.
Taya.
Yeah,
I
that was
love
hard.
Todd and Taya together. They were my ship.
Yeah, she's a
TNT
fantastic
were
actor.
dynamite for a reason.
I wish
I
they
have so many people in my group that are Todd and Blair fans. I'm like, I hated, well, not
Blair.
hated.
Yeah.
I a love-hate relationship, we'll put it that way, with Todd and Blair. I
Okay,
just hated that she kept lying to him. Their relationship would have been totally better. She just totally would have been honest with him, and
Well,
I would have went for the shit more.
That's like Nina and I were talking earlier, and who was it that said the thing about the sleaziest way to write is by hearing the plot being based on being.
My dad was told back in the day, even backer than my day, because he was a staff writer at Republic Studios, and his boss told him, I think you're going to get a giggle out of this, is do never, ever let a plot turn on somebody who overheard something. Hello? Is that GH or what? Or any sort?
It's like,
Yep.
I'm going to do my therapy session in the middle of the hospital where everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, get a room.
No,
Yeah, but whenever they talk in the hospital, nobody hears.
Or down where Peter's being kept.
how's he doing?
Nobody can hear you down where Peter is.
I'm anxious to figure out who's going to be the first one to find Peter.
I have a theory.
Somebody's going to find him.
I have a theory.
What?
Writers don't pay any attention to me. It's just a theory. Somebody, sleazebag, somebody, of course, got him out of there before he froze, and he wasn't really dead. And they have whisked him away, and he's going to come back and be the bad guy that he really, really is after he's had a nice vacation. Yeah,
I believe so too.
I hope
I
not.
think the
I hope
freezer's
he's
going to be
gone.
empty.
the empty
I wish-
freezer.
Empty when they finally check it.
I
And he
can
really
see it
wasn't
going
dead.
that way, but I don't like it at all.
I don't like
Say
it.
that actually, she's been tortured a lot more than just being thrown down the stairs.
Yeah,
I'm
he-
sorry.
He
They killed
needs
my
to
boo.
go. He needs to he needs to stay gone.
I'm sure
If they
he'll
want to
come
bring the
back.
actor back, bring him back as another character. I don't have
Well,
a
you know
problem.
what? One Life to
No.
Live used to do that all the time. They'd come back as a ghost. It was cool.
Yeah.
He
I'm
already
a big
came
Dark,
back
I'm a
as a
Dark
ghost.
Shadows fan, and they, their actors played like 4 or 5
Yeah.
different characters.
It's
I'm a
reincarnation.
massive
What the
fan of
heck?
Dark
You know.
You know, can I just, what'd you
Are we
say?
in?
Yeah, we.
George DeHaan played a great ghost.
Yeah, right.
When he was haunting, what's her name?
I swear.
Liz.
Anyway.
Liz, that would
He
be.
was. He appeared to Liz, right?
I
Already
missed that one.
on the
I'm
roof.
kind of behind. Hi, Minnie. See you come
Yeah,
in.
he did.
Hi. Hi from Eastern Iceland.
Is that where you
Awesome.
are?
Hi, mate.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. The time, we got mixed up in the time difference,
Oh,
and I thought it was tomorrow, but I realized tomorrow was today.
It was
It's already
yesterday.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow was today. Yesterday, you weren't too far off.
yeah. So I want to tattle a bit more about my stepmom, because she led the life of a starlet back in the day.
I roll. In
Yeah.
case it doesn't read, I roll.
Yeah, she did. Like, she used to hang out with Natalie Wood and R.J. Wagner and Jill St. John and her husband, and like, she knew, and they weren't. It isn't that they worked together, but they were friends because they were all in the same business. But
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, interesting, huh? And sadly, they used to go fishing and snorkeling and scuba diving, and isn't it
Surfing.
surfing? Is that what happened to your?
Oh yeah.
Tell them that story.
Oh God, really?
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna make her tell bad stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, drum roll.
Yeah.
My then boyfriend, Barry Coe, and I were on the boat with Natalie and RJ, and we were anchored over at Catalina Island. We were on a weekend, play date.
As one does when one is an ingenue. Yes.
Well, we were ingenues then. All the young and pretty crowd.
Yeah.
Anywho, there was a spear gun on board, and I thought, oh, this will be fun, knowing zero about that machinery or spearfishing or anything. But, I was 19, 18, something like that. Knew everything, as we all did at that age, I'm sure. And I picked the sucker up and we chummed. If you don't know what that means, I didn't either, but I found out then. You throw some bait in there and the little fishies come to chomp on the bait. And I thought, oh, and I'm not a killer of fish. I just have never done it before. It was like target shooting. I said, oh, I picked up the spear gun and aimed it with the butt end at my mouth. And I don't know if you've ever shot a spear gun, but there's a hell of a kick to it. And it caught me right here and chipped off all my front teeth. When I was 18 years old and acting. This was not a convenient time to have chipped front teeth.
And it's not like you could go to one of those places that did veneers.
I had to have a replacement. No. It hurt. And it was an ongoing, and to this day, we're talking 50 years, never mind, but somewhere in there. I still, when I go to the dentist, I have this fear of chipping a tooth and finding myself in the chair with great gobs of Novocaine in me and drills going. Oh my God!
You have PTSD from that.
PTSD from that stupid thing to pick up a spear gun and shoot myself in the mouth backwards. And I shouldn't have been doing that, but I didn't know any better. Nobody told me.
Sadly, there was no podcast back there where we could have reenacted your true life drama.
Do you remember that song that Jimmy Boyd sang, All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth? I identified.
You guys have any questions for Nina or me or anything? Or anyone else?
You're afraid I won't remember anything. You're probably right. But she does. She remembers stuff.
Well, tell them some of the other movies you were in. She hates this, so I will do it. Blue Denim, which you can get on YouTube.
Say one for me.
Say One for Me.
High Time.
High Time.
The Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail. She had a big part now.
I crossed. It was the cheapest. Oh, you want to hear that one?
Yeah,
this is a good one. Thank you. I was a contract player at Fox when there was a back lot. It wasn't Century City then. It was a really cool 2 streets away. It was huge back lot, as most of the movie theaters, the big ones, had in those days when property values weren't so high. They had to get rid of them. Anywho, I was cast as Prudence, the girl, in the Oregon Trail. And I was so thrilled. I got my name in the top and everything. And I thought, I have arrived. I am going to be a movie star. And I'm, really young and totally into myself. I'm sorry to say, but I was. And we crossed the entire United States in 12 days in a train shed.
So they used an old train shed.
No, it was on the back lot, and it was a place where they would store trains. So they took them all out, and they put a sky thingy that looked like clouds and stuff. And we had
your covered wagons,
covered wagon things, and buckboards. And we went this way, come around, this way, come around.
We're almost to Oregon now.
This way. Go around. I had a pretty sore butt, I'll tell you. And in between, we had a set that showed the campfire and the gatherings. And we would do the story. We had some really cool actors in that thing, too. But talk about a budget movie. And anyway, I didn't realize I had no frame of reference. Okay, this is my first gig, if you will. And again, 12 days, all the way across the United States with the same sky. Same guy blowing dust in our face, walking ahead of us. I still naive, totally naive. So big deal. It was the Oregon Centennial of them becoming a state. Up we all went to Portland, Oregon. And they had this big old premiere and all these actors and stuff. And I got to get up and get my roses and be a star. And I was so, again, wow. And then I sat down in the section and the movie came on and it showed all this wonderful stock footage of Oregon. And you know how it's a beautiful state. Truly is. It's got the waterfalls and, you know, you name it, the high trees and everything. I'm going, and I see my name go across and I've arrived. And then the movie started.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. Got lower and lower and lower. I was so ashamed. I couldn't wait to get out of that theater and go cry in my hotel room. So, you know, there's the ups and downs of what I did. There were some good one-ups, and that was not one of them.
She was in a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, briefly.
Was it Rear Window?
No, it was Vertigo.
Vertigo. She was in Vertigo.
Oh,
Very.
that's actually one of my
If
favorites.
you blink, you'll miss me.
There's a scene
Probably.
where is it Jimmy Stewart? I
Jimmy
don't.
Stewart, yep.
He's in a cab, and he's in a cab driving, and he's looking for this woman.
I'm Kim Novak.
He's looking for Kim Novak, and he looks out the back window, and he sees Nina crossing the street, and he thinks it's her.
And he follows me into that part got cut, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I saw it, when they rerun it every now and again on TCM, I looked at it once and I went, oh, I thought I spent 5 days filming that thing.
Where am I?
No, seriously. The scene actually, when it was boiled down in the scene that's left, if you happen to run into it, don't blink because I will not be long. He comes, I'm sitting in front of, if you've seen the movie, you know the premise, in front of this portrait of this woman I think I'm supposed to be reincarnation of, something like that. And I'm sitting there and he comes up behind me and I look at him startled and it's not Kim Novak, it's me. That's it. Boop, wrong. But
So she was in a Hitchcock film, though.
that was my first ever acting part before I even went to Fox.
Were
And
you able,
say what?
I'm sorry, were you directed by Hitchcock, or was it a second,
Absolutely.
AD?
If you want to call it directing, yes. He picked me out of a lineup because I guess my height, although I had my normal brown hair at the time. Shall I tell?
We're gonna tell that story because it's really good.
Another one of those, I wish I didn't have to tell the stories because it's pretty good. I'm in a lineup and he picks me, says, I want her. There was no lines, so there's nothing to read. He just,
Was looking for someone who looked like Kim Novak.
close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. And if you look at her, I don't look like Kim Novak. But as of all those people who were lined up, I guess I came closest. Anyway, he said, but she's a blonde. As you remember Novak, she had like white hair practically. It said, I had, brown hair, middle brown. And the hairdresser was in there at the time. Pardon me, but I don't like the lady. I didn't then, and I don't now. So if I snark a little bit, forgive me.
Oh my gosh, she's going to snark.
The evil witch from the hair department said, "Oh, no problem. I can fit her with a wig." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so I toddle after her, and we're at Paramount on the lot, and it takes me to hairdressing, and the wigs are all too small. And we go back up, and I've got this hair hat on. And he says, "Yep, your roots show." And Nellie says, "Oh, don't worry about that. We can bleach the roots." And I, only the roots? Of course. And I, little panic sits in it. I'm going to have.
Like, I'm not going to be wearing this wig all the time, dudes. You
No.
know what's going to look like.
No, it's just, I have to go home and bleach only my roots. I had kind of long hair then. And I kind of whimpered a little bit to her because I was kind of scared, I was just a kid.
Well, and bleaching your hair back there, it
Painful.
hurt. I mean, it was
Painful.
like acid on your head.
So I said to her, only the roots, because she's trying to save money. It's a big deal to come in under budget, blah, blah, blah. And she told me to shut up and be quiet and eat it because I could be fired if she had to ever say she could get me off that picture like that. So I ate it. she sent me to get to the hairdresser, some place they contracted out on Sunset Boulevard. And he felt sorry for me. He said, "Oh, please, I'll do your whole head." And then halfway through, I looked like a Japanese sunset because at that time I was a virgin bleach, every color in the rainbow that matches orange or thereof. And they called and said, "Oh, no, 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 no. This is where Kim Nova changes her hair back to the color." I was naturally, they didn't know where I was in the script.
Are you kidding? They made you do this, but you didn't need to?
Mm-mm. And if you see me, I have brown hair, which was dyed back to my own color. And my head, my scalp hurt like crazy. And Melly Manley is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Good to know.
And she's dead. So sorry.
By the way, there are a lot of these things you can find on YouTube if you ever want to see it. She did an episode of the Munsters. Do you guys remember the Munsters?
Oh gosh, yes. I
Okay.
love the Munsters.
In this particular episode, she and Fred Gwynn change bodies. So she has to act like Fred Gwynn, and he has
I
to act
remember
like
that.
her. And that's on
I like
YouTube. You can find that.
It was really kind of cool because I spoke my own lines. And then after we were through shooting, he got dubbed into his voice was dubbed over into my lines so that when you saw the episode, I talked like him,
Yeah.
like Grandpa.
I remember that episode. I'm a big Munsters fan.
Yeah, and I had to
Yeah.
learn to smoke a cigar and all that kind of, well, you don't inhale it. I mean, you smoke it.
I'm going to look for that one now because I
Yeah.
do remember watching that.
Really,
Hulu.
really,
Hulu's
I think
have it.
it's really fun. And the Fred Gwynn, the guy who played, the big guy,
Mhm.
God, what a nice man. Hi, who's
He
that?
always seemed like it.
Hi.
Do you know the title of that episode by any
I
chance?
think it's called Lily becomes a model or something like that.
If I find it, I'll post it in
We're
the.
on a Zoom, babe. I can't. talk to you.
I'll post it so that you can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll post a couple. I'll find a couple of snippets so
Yeah,
that you
I
can
think
see.
that shows up on.
Well,
there.
you saw the tiny little picture I found of her when she was dying in the bed.
Hey, they've all gone to the beach.
Sorry, we're doing family things here. Drop in.
Yeah, this is the do drop in, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome.
IMDb shows you were in your episode of Lassie. How was Lassie as a co-star?
Oh, that was weird because we filmed in the desert. It was hotter than you know what. And Lassie got an umbrella and in her own special place, and the rest of us had to fend for ourselves. She was the star.
I heard that was the boy.
Yeah, and it's a boy dog. Lassie is always a boy dog. Since they have prettier coats.
He had to wear a merkin, so the audience couldn't tell he was a boy.
Oh, well, I hope not. That's supposed to be a girl dog.
Yeah.
And they had Lassie to be in training there. It was really interesting. I'm trying to think of the trainer's name. It'll come to me or not. Anyway, there was always a new Lassie in training, and training is important because in a movie, atmosphere is very chaotic, and animals get really messed up if they're not used to the sounds of all the noises that come on a movie set.
True.
Whether you're indoors or out, it's just really noisy. And this was a sweet young dog, and he sailed around everywhere that Lassie went. And Lassie was a beautiful, well-trained little actor. Well, he was in drag, let's put it that way.
Lassie in drag.
Lassie in drag. Yeah. No, it was a nice experience. I think it was a 4-parter, and I think I was in 2 of them or something. I can't remember the role. A lot of the roles I played then, to me, they were the girl. I was the girl. In fact, one time I was working on a show, and the director said something, "Bring the girl on," and I got my nose out. I said, "My name is Nina."
We're gonna call you the girl. Yeah. You guys have any other questions for Nina?
I do. I just looked at your wiki page. By the way, the episode is called Lily Munster Girl Model. That is what it's called.
Oh, good.
But
Thank you. I knew it had something to do with Lily and a model.
It said that you were on Beverly Hillbillies, and I always was a big fan of that. You did a run.
Yeah,
What
I
was
was
that like?
actually. It was a one-shot deal. I played the maid of the next door neighbor, and I had a thing for football. And so I went over, I think it was his name Jethro, the character, the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jethro watched football, and I went over to watch football with him. And of course, he misread my intentions. And he thought I was spitting on him, and all I wanted to do was watch his damn television. And so there was kind of a misunderstanding thing. But you know what? I tested for the part of Ellie Mae. That was the first time I ever screen tested for anything. And of course, my heart was in my throat waiting to hear. And I was poor agent. Like she wouldn't call me if I got it. Like I kept calling her, Yeah, nothing. And it obviously I didn't get it. But
Were you blonde then?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I kept my blonde hair, all that work about as well.
Yeah.
Besides, at that time, I heard they had more fun. So ask Lady Clairol.
Yeah, I used to be a blonde. We did not have more fun.
I did.
Oh, I didn't.
Wrong era.
Yeah.
I had more fun.
Okay, you guys, you have any more questions? Otherwise, we're gonna let you go and get to bed because you're not in Hawaii where it's 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm very happy to
It's
meet all
almost
of
1
you.
a.m.
What, Minnie?
Hey,
What?
I said, and you're not in Iceland where it's almost 1 a.m.
Is that?
gosh.
Are you guys really in Iceland?
We are broadcasting to you from Eastern Iceland.
We are
Wow.
like, talk about opposite ends of the world.
Eastern Iceland.
Oh, and you
Yeah.
stayed up to see this. Thank you so much. You two
I'll
are
tell you
so
what.
sweet. What?
Thank you.
Rock on, dude. Rock on.
Guess where we're going when we're done?
Yeah.
It's 5:00 someplace, right?
Yeah, right.
We recommend it.
I'll take your recommend. Thank you very much.
Well, you guys,
Well,
thank
it's
you.
5 o'clock here.
There you go.
Jewel. Dish it up, baby.
What do they call it? In Hawaii, bottoms up. It's called okole maluna. So
Okole maluna.
maluna.
And okole means
But-
butt.
bottoms up.
Yeah.
Okole maluna.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, I didn't get the first part recorded, but I will probably do an introduction and it edited in so that if people who missed this will be able to at least hear
It
that
was
part.
so fun to hear from you guys. Thank you. Made me feel special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we won't
Thank you for
spoil
being on
today's
today.
show because
No.
we've seen it. So
I did warm up on the show, by the way. I had to get my head on for GH, but I still watch it.
Yeah. So we
Has it even
appreciate
aired
you
in
guys
Hawaii yet?
and
I say again?
what, Steve?
Has today's show even aired in Hawaii yet?
Yeah.
We had just it had just finished when we
Yeah.
started here.
Here in Hawaii, GH airs at 1:00 on ABC. And oftentimes I'm not available to watch it, so I'll just DVR it, and watch it later when I feel like it. Sans commercials, of course.
Yeah, well, we're all Hulu people who watch it with
I
without.
I just go zip, zip, zip. Fast forward.
I only watch for the first 3 seconds on Hulu, just so I could see my boo.
I know, 'cause Roger's still on there. Yeah, I know. It's like,
Yep.
yeah,
That is weird. I know. That drives me. It's like, why?
it's like, why is Peter keep showing up in the credits?
Yeah.
He wasn't in today's credits. I looked for him.
No, he only shows up randomly, and you think, oh, is he going to be on this time? And then they don't even talk about him.
They take forever to change credits on that show, and it always has. I remember even like 15 years ago or so, there was a time where they had credits and like half of the characters were dead, and they're still in the credits.
They care little about the opening credits over there, and it shows.
It's really too bad. And what they've done is so easy to fix. I could
Mhm.
edit those opening credits in 10 minutes.
And they're terrible.
With
I'm sorry,
photos.
but I don't like the current way they do the credits are terrible.
Oh, and
just-
Nina
they just-
looks like she should be hospitalized for jaundice.
Where?
On the opening credits, not you,
Oh.
Nina.
Oh.
Yeah, and some of them look terrible. Some of them look
I-
in those
No,
credits.
it's not you. No, but if you look at her picture, I mean, she looks I don't think whoever did it was like, dude,
Yeah,
get out of your
it's
Photoshop
bad.
and fix it. You know,
It's time for an update, definitely, with their
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, it needs an update. It's bad.
Because those
Well,
are the
they need to
photos that they
put-
use
they
for the
need to-
cell phone picture too.
right?
Yeah.
Well, they need to put
And it's
Liesl
terrible.
in there, and they need to put Brit in there, and they need to,
Mhm.
you know, all these new important characters that are back need to be in those.
Mhm.
I have a thought. It would be nice if they showed in the opening credits who you're going to see in that particular episode.
Well, that's the way they used to do
Period.
it, and then
I would
and then
think
you
so.
know who to look
They
for.
Yeah.
kind of still do it, but they're throwing Peter in there for whatever reason.
Well, he's got to be a little bit stinky by now. You know, they could have a power outage and he would just become a zombie. Hey, that would work.
We've talked
Right.
about
That would be so funny.
He could
We
be a
just need to
zombie.
have and I think I might do that. I'll just use my DaVinci Resolve, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do the opening credit thing roll, and then when it stops at Peter, I'm gonna make him a zombie.
Yeah, there you go. Do that. Please do that.
You stay current. You stay current with the trends. That's very good.
Well, you guys, we're going to sign off and let you guys get back to your life.
This was fun.
This was
Thank you.
really fun.
I
Thank you.
appreciate being
Thank you.
involved.
And
Thank you
just so
for
you
doing
know,
this.
Thank you.
David's
Bye-bye.
got some people up his
Bye.
sleeve. David's got some people up his sleeve for the next time, so watch for that.
Ooh, cool.
And he is connected, you guys. He knows so many actors and directors and producers. So he's got some people lined up that I think everyone will find really interesting.
Boo, I'm gonna flip out.
I told him that. I said, hey, we've discussed that. He said, I know Roger and I could bring him on. And I said, Jewel will die. Don't do it. We can't risk it. And we get Roger on here and he'd go, who is that woman over there? And why is she doing that? Terrify him.
That makes a deal.
So anyway, we may get,
Salute.
I promise for you, we will do our best to get Roger on, but I can't
Oh
promise.
God, I'll die. I'm gonna die.
We'll
You
let
might have to warn her first.
Bye.
I know. We'll warn you. We'll warn you. We'll send you medication that you take before we air, and you'll be fine.
Hey, you got my, I have my medication right
He
here.
knows what's going on. All right, you guys. Aloha from Hawaii, and thank you so much for being
Aloha.
here and for supporting our page. We appreciate you so much.
And I had fun meeting you. So
And
thank
yeah,
you.
here
And
Very
we
you go.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. We will talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.